Let's be real. A modern engine is a mechanical masterpiece, but its complexity, wow, it can be pretty intimidating. Proper servicing isn't just about grabbing a wrench and hoping for the best. It's a professional process, and it's built on a foundation of 5 key pillars. I mean, it's a totally fair question. You lift the hood and you're just staring at this maze of parts, wires, and potential problems. Going in without a plan, that's a recipe for disaster. So what's the secret to getting it right every single time? Well, the secret is starting with the fundamentals. It's not magic. There are 5 core principles that every single professional technician has absolutely mastered. And these pillars are what turn a really complex job into a structured, manageable, and successful process. So here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to cover knowing the engine inside and out, mastering its fluids, respecting its dangers, the absolutely critical pre-service inspection, and finally, how to finish the job like a true pro. Let's jump right in. Okay, our first pillar is all about that foundational knowledge. And yeah, it sounds obvious, but you absolutely cannot service or diagnose an engine if you don't fundamentally get what it is and how it works. So at the most basic level, you've got to know the 2 main types. You have spark ignition, which is what you find in most cars. It uses a spark plug. And then you have compression ignition, or diesel, which uses the insane pressure and heat from compression to ignite the fuel. 2 totally different ways of getting the same job done. And it's about more than just knowing the names: block, head, piston. A pro understands how they all interact. For instance, knowing the relationship between the crankshaft and the camshaft is just fundamental to diagnosing any kind of timing issue. This core anatomy is step 1. Now, think of these 4 as the engine's life support systems: lubrication, cooling, fuel, and air. And they are deeply connected. A coolant leak, for example, could cause overheating, which can then totally wreck the lubrication system. You have to see it all as one big integrated machine. And here's the so what. Here's why all this matters. All this knowledge builds your baseline. It trains your eyes and your ears to know what a healthy engine looks and sounds like. Without that baseline, you're basically just guessing. You can't spot the abnormal if you don't have a clue what normal is. Okay, let's move on to our second pillar: fluids, specifically engine oil. Now, this might seem like the most basic service task there is, but let me tell you, getting this wrong can have catastrophic and immediate consequences. Just one mistake, that is all it takes. Using the wrong type of oil, the wrong viscosity, or even just putting in the wrong amount can seriously damage an engine in a matter of minutes. The stakes just don't get much higher than this. I want you to treat this like a pilot's pre-flight checklist. Seriously, before a single drop of old oil is drained, every single one of these items must be confirmed. And not from memory. You go directly to the manufacturer's specs. This is not a guessing game. It's about absolute precision. And that's the bottom line. This isn't just a friendly recommendation. It is the most fundamental task you will ever perform on an engine. It directly impacts its lifespan, and professionally, it is a non-negotiable part of the job that you will definitely be assessed on. All right, next up, we have to talk about safety. And I don't mean the general workshop rules. We're zeroing in on the specific, unique dangers that you face when you are working directly on an engine. The engine bay is basically a minefield of unique risks. You've got belts and fans that'll grab loose clothing in a heartbeat, exhaust manifolds hot enough to give you a severe burn, and electrical systems carrying some seriously lethal voltages. Each of these requires a different kind of awareness and a specific safety procedure. A lot of the time, you need to get the whole vehicle up in the air just to access the engine. And this is way more than just pushing a button. You have to know the type of hoist, the vehicle's specific lifting points, and, critically, you must inspect that hoist for safety before every single use. So you might be wondering why the intense focus on specifics. Because professional standards demand it. Assessors aren't just looking for you to be careful. No way. They are looking for you to identify each specific risk and then apply the correct, specific control measure for that risk. That's the difference between an amateur and a pro. This brings us to Pillar 4. And let me tell you, this step truly separates the parts fitters from the real technicians. You have to remember this. Inspection isn't part of the service. It is a distinct, mandatory phase that happens before you even think about touching a tool. A professional follows a very clear process. First, you conduct a thorough inspection. Second, you compare everything you find against the manufacturer's specs. And third, you formally report your findings and make recommendations. All of this happens before you pick up a tool to start the service work.
So what's on this inspection hit list? Well, you're basically using all your senses. You're hunting for fluid leaks with your eyes, you're listening for any abnormal noises, and you're physically checking for wear and tear on crucial components like engine mounts, belts, and hoses.
And here's why this step is totally non-negotiable. Finding a cracked belt during the inspection, that's a professional win. Finding it after you've done the service while the customer is waiting in the lobby, that is a professional failure. It costs time, it costs money, and worst of all, it costs your credibility. All right, we've arrived at our fifth and final pillar. The service is complete, but the job is not over, not by a long shot. How you finish is every bit as important as how you start. The professional finish has 3 key steps. First, you test your work. You run the engine up to temperature and do a final leak check. Second, you clean your work area and properly dispose of all the waste according to environmental laws. And third, you document every single thing you did. And please, never ever think of documentation as just paperwork. It's your professional shield. That completed repair order is the legal evidence of the work you performed. If anything is ever questioned down the line, this evidence trail is what protects you. And really, that's the difference, isn't it? Following these 5 pillars isn't about just checking a box and getting a task done. It's about owning a professional process from start to finish. So the final question is for you. Will you just complete the task, or will you own the entire process?